Thank you. A great thank you to all of the speakers. Challenging and, but for my part, very interesting. We certainly have time for questions or comments from the audience. We have about 20 minutes or so, if that works out. I still cannot see you, but the microphones are fairly far forward. I believe from the sounds of laughter, there are people in the room besides ourselves. And I would urge you all to come. Oh, now I can see. I have no more excuses. This is unfortunate. It was better. I see one person on a microphone there, so I'll start with you, sir, and one there. I'm not. I'll go on my. I like going to my left, so I'll go there to number 2, then to number 3.
Great. Is this on? Yep. Marlo Reynolds, Penman Institute. I'd like to hear from each of the panelists just your view on the current state of climate science and your view then, given what climate scientists are saying, your opinion on how urgent it is to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Thank you. Clarence, can I start with you and work?
As Michael said earlier, I'm a geologist, so the one thing I know that has been going on for 6.5 billion years is climate change. It's been with us for a long time. In fact, throughout most of the Earth's geologic history, the climate was far less conducive to man occupying it than it is today. From our standpoint, we don't try to investigate to what extent man's activities are influencing, either accelerating or decelerating or causing enhanced climate change. From our standpoint, we simply see that it's good business sense to do the things that we're doing, whether it's energy efficiency, whether it's investing in renewables, whether it's investing in carbon sequestration, new technologies that will ensure that the energy we produce and deliver to customers is done so in a much more sustainable way. But we spend absolutely no time trying to redo the science or prove or disprove either side. We simply accept that this is what we need to do to be a good corporate citizen.
Thanks, Clarence. Greg?
Yeah, I'd say we're in the same basis. Obviously, from a Spectra Energy perspective, what's actually causing climate change and to the extent is less important than figuring out ways to take what we ship, store, and process and use it more efficiently, making sure that it's sustainable practices. There is no doubt that natural gas is a non-renewable resource. Anytime we can find a way to have a non-renewable anything, used less of, used more efficiently, then that's a win-win, and that's what we look at. So we aren't scientists, and we're not trying to predict that. There's plenty of stuff out there and different views on those types of issues. I don't think it's particularly important from a how we run the company in understanding that exactly, as opposed to making sure what we're doing is making sure that we're sustainable in what we're up to, and that the product we're using, we recognize that it is a non-renewable.
Thanks, Greg.
I certainly try to make it clear in my comments today that I think we have to start today. In the case of our company, we've said we won't build another coal plant, and we are now building just renewables. That's on phase one. I've also said that I believe the solutions to the existing infrastructure will take time. I think we have the time, and I think we do have a period of time, 20 or 30 years. So I think to try to rush everything into a 5-year period would be, economically, would be wrong. And I'm not sure if there's enough scientific proof to support that. So anyways, my view was quite clear. We need to start today. We do have some time, but it doesn't mean we just wait. It doesn't look like you wait to 2040 and do everything. It's a steady road, down the road, make progress, start today, and just every year make progress. And I think you heard that from the oil sands. If you look back, we're 30 years made progress. Now we'll make more progress. I don't think it's going to come in a big gestalt. It's just steady, get it going, and get on with it.
Okay, again, it's always tough when you're the fourth one to add something new to that.
I just wanted to give you a break.
No, it's good. I appreciate it. So if I start at the, I think most people are past is the climate changing. I think there's little doubt that the weather patterns and the climate has been seeing some change. Whether what the causes are is what a lot of the debate's been about. And I'm very much in the camp, it doesn't matter much, because you've got a certain number of things you can do to influence this, and some of them we've been talking about here today. So it makes a ton of sense to manage energy efficiently. It's going to get more expensive, particularly around oil, because it's getting deeper and more difficult to get to. It's places like oil sands where you have to do a lot of work on it. So it's already getting more expensive, and what's come with energy, and we often forget it, is the ability to be warm when you're cold, the ability to be cold when you're warm, good health. Life expectancy is doubled largely in the oil age. And all of these things are still great things to aspire to. So the question for me becomes not do we have to be energy efficient, we have to be more aware of how we build towns and cities, we have to get the right transportation solutions. But it comes at the point you go beyond common sense, because if you start to destroy value in that process, too much subsidy, too many things which don't make sense, then you potentially funnel some of that money away which has been used in the public good. So I see these first stages as really easy. We should do the best we can. There are already technologies which could give us on this continent twice the fuel consumption from our vehicles. Why haven't we been using it? It just makes sense. Why don't we have the proper design and standards around our houses in order to take us to the leading edge of practices that already exist today? So all of these first stages, I just see them as a shot to nothing. We should be moving on with the sensible, common sense ones as fast as we can.
Thanks, Steve. I'll just, in the interest of time, we'll go to mic 3.
Colleen Kimmett, a reporter with the Tyee. I think this question is best directed for Steve Williams. You mentioned the need for a national sustainable energy policy. What are some specific policies or initiatives you'd like to see in that? And also, how do you measure the success of such a policy? Is it carbon targets, or is it energy production targets in terms of renewables or non-renewables?
I think you've nailed it brilliantly. It's all those things. So I think it needs to look at the supply side. I think it needs to look at demand and how we shape consumption, whether it's transportation or how we build homes and where we build homes. And I think the other piece is, and it sort of links right back to the last question there around, absolutely it's about collaboration. It needs to be industry who are supplying some of the dollars. It needs to be government who are helping form the policy so that once technology is starting to be developed, you can roll it out quickly. And it needs to be anybody else who's got good ideas, whether that be NGOs, whether that be the neighbors in the communities we work. The broad collaboration, in my experience, delivers the right answer.
Do you think the industry could benefit, though, from are you looking for specific government targets? By 2040, we want to have not 10% renewable energy, but 20% renewable energy.
I think a successful strategy will include targets both around the mix of energy and the performance of them. So we'll have specific targets around environmental impact, yes.
Thank you. Last question.
Just a comment more than a question. I've been around this climate file and for 22 years now, and I really want to say I've seen a sea change in industry. And I think it's amazing because we're not waiting for government to actually tell us what to do anymore. And the era of uncertainty has actually led to a lot more innovation and public participation, I think, on behalf of it, on the part of industry, out of necessity to become more efficient. And I think what's happened is that we've really seen industry take these issues into their own hands and focus on efficiency and technology, and we've let the government regulators try to figure out what they're doing, but we're moving forward, and I think that's a sea change, and I think the incentives that government can provide to industry should remain, whether they be in renewables or CCS or something else, but that I almost think that the government regulators should just let industry move forward because industry knows how to be efficient, and technology is driving it and innovation is helping it. So I actually think I'm very, very impressed by what I saw today. So thank you.
Thank you very, very much. That's a fitting note to conclude on, so thank you.